Matthew here from MiniWargaming.com. I want to do a follow-up for our Ruins of Drakenfell Kickstarter. First off, huge thank you. I know I posted that video a few days ago and I was very nervous. I'm glad to say that my nervousness was unfounded. Well, it wasn't unfounded at the time, obviously. I couldn't see the future. And so many of you have actually offered to back and have backed. And so I think as of today, we're over 50,000 Canadian dollars. Which I'm very happy with, and I'm happy to see where it'll go because I can tell you that iDemo Games and I have already had conversations about what we're going to be doing next for a sci-fi set that'll continue the theme of Drakenfell. We'll probably be going, maybe we'll be going beneath Drakenfell and doing a more sci-fi set of the ancient aliens and who they were and all of that. But anyways, huge thank you. So thank you so much. And if you haven't checked it out, I'll put a link below to the Kickstarter. But what I wanted to do in this video, one of the questions that came up was the modular buildings, how they worked, and like I want to give a bit of a tutorial. I do plan on doing a bunch of videos with tutorials. I want to do a tutorial on how you can paint it. It's actually super easy to paint terrain, and that's coming from me. I'm not that good at painting, but painting terrain is actually not that hard. And there's lots of different ways you can do it. And I also want to do a tutorial on how to print it because a lot of you actually have never 3D printed anything before. And while I did make that video a while back about the dangers of 3D printing miniatures at home, 3D printing terrain at home, on the other hand, is A-okay, and it's so easy. They're so easy to do if you get the right printers. And so I'll make a video about that later as well. And if there's any other questions you have about the Drakenfell set or tutorials you'd like me to make or 3D printing, leave a comment below. And I'll see if I can get to it because Dave and I plan on doing a bunch of videos, filming a bunch of videos next week before the Christmas break so that we can continue getting you guys content about this and help you get into making awesome terrain at home. So let's talk about this stuff. So this is probably my favorite part of the entire set is the what I like to call it the modular temple because to me it looks very temple-ish and that was the inspiration when we were designing it. And the idea behind this is that you can build them into Lego pieces or Lego-like pieces that you can then create these really, really cool buildings. And you have a lot of variety in what you can do. Now, one of the questions was, well, how do they fit together in such a way that they're not going to fall apart when you put them on the table? And so these ones are already attached. But there's basically these L shapes. So everything comes in these L shapes with little, and they have, what do you call that when there's like something sticking out and then there's a hole. What is that called?
Registration points?
Registration points?
Yeah.
Sure.
For putting things together.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but it's like when there's like basically things fit in. So there's a word for that or words for that. I just don't remember what it is. Somebody could put it in the comments saying it's this. Like joints basically. And so they fit in like that. And then of course there's the top piece. So this is 3 pieces that you see here. There is a humongous variety of these. In fact, they went overboard with the amount of variety of these L pieces. So with archways and ruins and smaller archways, just a huge amount. And then there's 2 heights. There's the bottom floor height, which bevels out. And then there's the upper floor height, which is slightly shorter, which doesn't bevel out. And so just basically cuts it off there. And that way when you stack them, they stack nicely because if you have the bevel coming out, then it covers it and doesn't look as well or look as good. And that way, and if you make sure you line them up that way, they'll line up in any size that you want. So the thing is here, though, what you want to do is you want to actually glue these together as units like this. And so you glue these 3 pieces together. You don't need to magnetize them or anything like that because there's no reason to pull them apart. You might think, well, I might want a different top. And it's like, well, sure, if you really want to go through that effort. But I find that just gluing them together, especially if you're 3D printing them yourself, you can do a bunch of them because they're not expensive to print. And so you end up with 3 sizes. You've got the, I like to call 2x2 or the squares, the big squares. You got the 1x2s, which are the rectangles. And then you got 1x1. And then what you can do is whatever the heck you want. And they come with a bunch of stairs as well of different varieties. And these are designed to go between the floors. As you can see, they're slightly shorter than this one and right about about the right height for the second floor ones. They're a little higher. And so they kind of bridge that gap between the two. So if I wanted to build something what I would do is first have all my Lego pieces, and then I would grab a bunch of the bottom floor ones and just quickly throw together some sort of configuration. You know what, I was setting up for a narrative campaign here. I'll just punk from that. This board isn't level, so apologize that this won't actually line up perfectly. So I would start with something simple. And the nice thing is this set is really good for any game you're playing, because if you're playing a game like Warhammer Fantasy that doesn't like to use a lot of terrain, then you can put these on the side of your table and make like this cool backdrop for the board that you're playing on. If you're playing a game like Necromunda or Warcry or Mordheim, then you can really pack your table with it. And then if you're playing a game more like 40K or Age of Sigmar, where you don't want as many of these, you can just make them individual little buildings rather than these big sprawling things. Or you can do the same thing with, you can put them on the side of your boards just to give it that extra cool look. So once you have like a foundation, so I'll just throw a couple more around. Let's put this one out here. Let's give it some interesting look. And then what I'll do is we'll just make a little small one right here. We'll put this one on the next, so this is the next floor one. This is the next floor one. And then that's a bottom floor. Just looking around, we got a lot of them here. Just want to make sure I get the right stuff. We even glued some together like this, where this is already glued on it. Adam did all this. He didn't need to do that. He could have kept those separate just fine. But it does make for a quick, I'll just throw that right there. And let's see, I'm looking for some more. Here we are. So we'll take this one and put it in the corner like that. And then we'll build that into some sort of tower. You know what, let's use this one. It works, even though it has the beveled out. It's okay for a tower. And you can mix and match this with the wall set and the towers and stuff. But I'm just showing you just the stuff from the modular temple, which is just one component of everything in this Kickstarter. So then we can use these stairs to basically create links between the levels. Depending on the game that you're playing, it'll be whether that's important or not. So let's just move that one there. Maybe put some stairs right here. And then, let's switch this around a little bit and put this one right here. And then instead we'll put this main stairs right here. And this cool looking stairs right here. I know we got this hole. We could switch that around. I could easily. I'm like, oh, you know what? I don't like that hole. I'll just rotate it and then cover it. Or if you're playing like D&D and you really want that inside and outside, those holes can be used to get between levels. And I can keep going. And then there's all sorts of different types of roofs. So you have like these ones with the points, and then you got like the skylight ones, which are just the square holes that are ruined, obviously. Or you can just use the floors as ceilings as well. And so I like to if we want to just keep going, and just keep adding more stuff. And so, and this is what we can do. We can just keep building more and more. So the question that was asked was, well, if I don't use magnets or clips or whatever, then, or some sort of open lock system, is it just going to fall apart? Well, you can see right here, like obviously I can smack this off, but I've played a bunch of games already with this, like in multi-levels, and we haven't had any, I've been knocking trees over because, they're easier because they're just shorter and there's not as much of a base. But when it comes to this stuff, like you'd have to try to knock that off. Like this is solid, this is heavy, and even just printed with PLA, it still has that weight to it. And they're really, it's nice and stable. So the whole thing stays together just fine. And I have enough here that I could actually cover like a 4x4 table. In fact, I did that for some of the episodes of our upcoming Deathwatch campaign because they're on the planet Drakenfell in the 40K universe. And there's some tremors and it opens up and it reveals the ruins of Drakenfell, which is like this mysterious thing. And it's a mystery as to what's going on. And it's a lead up to what I want to do as a worldwide narrative campaign. But I'm getting off topic here, aren't I? So anyways, so that's the basic idea behind the modular temple set. Like I said, there's a ton of variety between how ruined the things are. And if you look at the different floors, like I think when you look at the amount of stuff that we have here, all these boxes full of it, and all of this, and everything that you see right here, and I think there might be odds and ends lying around in other rooms as well. I think we just printed one of everything, and maybe a few more than of the floors. But there were so many of the walls that just printing one of each of them created this much stuff. And then we had to print a bunch more floors because there's a lot of variety in the floors, but there's only so many of them, right? And so like even just, we look at these, for example, and we look at the floors and we can see, like I don't even know how many, honestly, off the top of my head, I don't know the number of different ones. Is this one different? No, that's the same as that one. And this one's a different ruined one. And so you have a lot of control. Like there's even more. There's this one. And I'm just like looking through them. Oh, this one's different. It's another ruined one, but it's different. And that's the same as that one. And then you've got a variety of the ceilings as well, like I said. And they come in all the sizes. The roofs do. They come in the 1x1, the 1x2, and the 2x2, so that you have that control as well over exactly how you want to do this. And you can stack them as high as you want to go and feel safe doing, and just create these epic looking buildings from them. So like I said, this is my favorite part of it because I wanted something modular that let me create buildings without having clunky buildings then to store. So they store really well, as you can see, because once they come down, they're just flat, except for the roofs, but you can always store those on top. So if you just have like cardboard boxes, like we can fit them and store them really, really easily. I can stack that really easily and just with some cardboard trays, stack all sorts of stuff in there. And so they store really easily. They print super easy as well. For the most part, they are support free, meaning that you just drag the STL into your slicer and you click slice. We recommend 10% infill and 0.2 millimeter height, if you're wondering, and they'll print. The only exception are the larger arches, like this. They need supports, and we'll provide both unsupported files and pre-supported files. And so the pre-supported will have like tree supports already in. If you're familiar with what that is, it just means that the support starts low and then it goes out like a tree, and it hits all these different spots that would have too much of an overhang. Or you can just take the unsupported file. If you're the type of person who likes to figure out the supports themselves, then you can choose to use those as well. So, but that's really it. The only places that you need supports in the entire Ruins of Drakenfell set is the places where the arches are a little bit bigger. And like I said, we'll provide all of those pre-supported for you, so you don't have to do anything except throw them into your slicer and slice. And they don't need brims, they don't need special supports, they don't need any of that kind of stuff. It's just they print super easily. Unless you have a crappy printer, of course, then that's something that you're gonna have to figure out. Get the Bamboo Labs P1P. That is like the best printer out there for the money and for printing terrain. Bamboo Labs P1P, and then pretty much get any filament, any PLA that you want, whatever you can find at your local supplier or online, doesn't really matter. Most likely it'll all print pretty well. Anyways, I think I've talked long enough about this. Stay tuned for more videos about the Ruins of Drakenfell. Also, stay tuned for the Death Watch campaign. We're actually we're halfway through filming it now, and the story is probably one of my favorite that I've done to date, and I've done like 60 or 70 narrative campaigns now. And so I really like this story. I like where it's going. It's been a lot of fun filming with Steve too, with the Death Watch guys, and they're kicking butt and getting their butts kicked at the same time. Upgrades and injuries. It's just a fun RPG experience for it. And if you want to help support us and make this Kickstarter a really big deal so that we can do even more and more of these and create awesome sets of terrain, 3D printable terrain for you, then go check it out. We also have pre-printed sets. So if you don't have a printer and don't want to get a printer, then we've made some affordable sets for you as well, so you can get this on your table. Go check it out at the link below. Thanks for watching. Happy wargaming.